If anyone had ever told me a few years ago that we would ever read headlines like these in American newspapers, I would have called him crazy. Yet here we are, reading them. In the middle of the 20th century, in the United States of America, hundreds and hundreds of teenage boys and girls are becoming hopeless dope addicts every year.
It's a day in the death of Donnie B. Strung out, waiting to die. Nothing to laugh
This
at.
is Phyllis as she looked 6 months ago, a senior in high school, pretty as a picture. Phyllis wasn't anxious to talk about her experiences with dope, but she could see how her story might be used to help others, and she began to talk.
I guess I knew about reefers, that's marijuana, ever since junior high. Some of the boys smoked them, the ones who couldn't get along, who were afraid of everything. You know. In high school, my girlfriend Ann and I went around with Jim and Bob. That's jive talk for marijuana. And after a while, Ann and I got so that we did too. It's funny what it does to you. Everything speeds up to 100 miles an hour.
Everything speeds up to 100 miles an hour.
You think you're real sharp, and you laugh a lot. You feel like you're the biggest person in the world.
I know he's killing himself, and I have a sneaky suspicion that he knows it also.
My dad knew something was wrong, but he didn't know what. Mother was sure her daughter would never do anything bad. I'd been smoking pot for quite a while before I met Chuck. I guess he was what the newspapers call a peddler. He supplied the kids at school with whatever they wanted.
Drugs are a cop-out. It really doesn't help the matter any. Makes it worse.
You're a poor person. Here you have a very expensive habit. In fact, you're really living like a rich person, because here you're giving yourself something which is going to cost you quite a few dollars per day. And where's the money going to come from? No one's going to give you that much money a day. And as your habit grows, in other words, as you use more and more drugs, this is inevitable. It's going to happen.
There was something intriguing and different about Chuck. I guess I appealed to him in some way, too. Anyway, I found out later what it was about him. He had the heroin habit. He was hooked. Chuck and I started running around together, and one night he asked me up to his place. I knew by now for himself. He needed a lot because he had a big habit. You know something about hypes? They don't like to see anybody not using the stuff just because they do. Chuck finally talked me into using heroin. He said it would make him feel better. So I tried it. But I was going to be smart. Just take it or leave it.
So my husband has been say, well, I guess I better go out and get some more insurance out on him, because since he doesn't give a damn about his own life, at least we can make some money from it. And I thought this was very cruel to have my husband say something like this. But then when you sit down and think about it.
What has to happen, the addict has to change his present view that he has of himself. If he doesn't, he will remain a walking corpse. And until this thing happens, he will continue on this path to nowhere.
But before I knew it, I was hooked. Bad. Oh, Chuck and I were married, but it didn't matter very much. Nothing does. Not when you're on H. All you think about day and night is dope. how much you've got, where to get more, what you'll do if you can't get it. And then they'd got Chuck. They had to eventually, I knew that, but it didn't matter much. Nothing did except age.
Can't feel the raindrops.
I needed a fix bad. So bad I didn't care whether I lived or died. And I didn't know whether I'd ever get another cap.
It's kind of hard to see a young person almost near death because he stuck a needle in
out some of the
person's
impurities.
vital.
It is then ready for injection directly into a vein.